For this next session, we're going to focus on primarily legal and ethical issues related to healthcare, the aging process, and so on. We also have Shelley Edwards from the Alzheimer's Association. So in this group we have Jane Markley, who's going to speak first, who is an ethics consultant, advanced care planning specialist. We have Shelley Edwards from the Alzheimer's Association. Cheryl Chapman Henderson, who is an elder law attorney and elder law specialist. And we have Melanie Goborn, who is a patient care advocate. So we're going to start with Jane Markley, and Jane, Cheryl, and Melanie are going to talk in conjunction. Their talks are tied together. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome, everybody. Today we're preparing for a crisis, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I have 5 minutes to make you think. You think I can do it?
Yes.
Oh, good. How many of you know what an advanced care plan is? Will it help if I say living will and durable power of attorney?
Yes.
Ah, yeah, that's more familiar to most people. Okay, now, how many of you, please be honest with me, how many of you have one that's been completed? Well, good. Congratulations. You're heading in the right direction, and that's really important. But I'm not going to let you off the hook just because you have one. Because there's more than just completing a document. There's having the conversation with your family, with your friends, with your healthcare provider, and with other people with whom you may come in contact. And if you haven't had the conversation, you need to do that. The conversation is critical to people being able to care for you as you want to be cared for as you age. For those of you, I'm going to let you all think for a few minutes about who you should have spoken to or who you should yet speak to regarding your plan. And I'm going to talk for a few seconds with those people who don't have a plan. Trust me, it's not too late. You folks are here today, so you can have the ability and the capability of doing it. The question is, do you have the will and the interest in doing it? You need to first have the conversation with yourself. What is it I want? Whether it's healthcare needs, whether it's where I want to live, how I want to be treated. And basically, the advanced care plan goes into effect when you can no longer speak for yourself. And so at that point in time, if people don't know what you want, if you haven't written it down and you haven't had that conversation, they don't know how to treat you. As a healthcare worker and a nurse, when I take care of a patient, I took care of a gentleman not long ago. His name was John. He said he couldn't speak to me anymore, but he had a beautifully crafted durable power of attorney for health care, living will, advanced care plan. Everything was in order, including phone numbers. Wow, that's unusual. And that was really great. I called Fred, and I said, Fred, do you know John so-and-so? He said, oh yeah, I was his next door neighbor 30 years ago. I said, well, he said, how's John doing? I said, well, that's why I'm calling. He's not doing well. And he's named you as his durable power of attorney for health care. Fred, with a few expletives, said, me? I haven't got a clue what he wants. Why would he name me? Well, we lost the ability to talk to somebody who knew John and how he wanted to be cared for. Yes, we have the living will and durable power of attorney, which does help, but you cannot always anticipate what your needs are going to be at that point. So it's important for you who don't have one to execute one and have that conversation. And as I move back now to those people who have one, have you thought about who you have to have that conversation with? Please do, because it's a gift to know what you are like. We actually keep these the 5 wishes, which is one of the tools that we use, and some of you have stopped by and said you actually have one. We use those at the bedside for patients who can't speak for themselves. It helps the providers understand a little bit more about you and what you want and what your expectations are, whether it is that you want a massage or whether it is that you want somebody to play classical music for you, whether you want visitors or don't want visitors. All these things help us understand a little bit better about you and what you want. So, it's a gift you give your family. That gift helps you because you get the care that you want. It helps your family because it doesn't put them in the guilt trip of, oh my gosh, what should I do? Should I do this or that? What would mom want? If you've written it down and communicated with them, they'll know that. So for all of you, have the conversation, document your desires, and be able to give the gift and avoid the crisis. Thank you.
Next is Cheryl Chapman Henderson. Cheryl is an elder law attorney specialist. She has ongoing conversations in several communities regarding elder law, estate planning, aid and attendance benefit. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And I want to follow up on what Jane was saying, that you need to have the conversation and document. And that's what we do. We help you document. And what I am passionate about is helping people give voice to what they want to do or how they want to live if they can't speak for themselves, as well as empower other people to make decisions. So what we talk about in our office is power papers, empowering people to make decisions for you if you can, and to give voice to your wishes. And so what do those power papers look like? First and foremost, what happens if you can't handle your financial affairs? Who's going to step in? That's traditionally done by a power of attorney, a durable power of attorney. And I want you to know one size doesn't fit all, so it's important to know what your objectives are. So that's one. And if I have time, I'm going to tell you a little story that I always tell in my office to show how important just a power of attorney is. Secondly, is a health care power of attorney. You give someone authority to make health care decisions for you. Thirdly, is an advance directive. An advance directive allows you to say in advance how you want to be cared for under specific circumstances. Typically, we now use advance directives to deal with end-of-life decisions. If you're in a terminal condition, do you want to be treated or not? If you're in a coma, how do you want to be treated? It can be much broader than that, but that's what we typically think of them as. So, our technology and we're living longer. It used to be that when as people aged, they got sick and died. Now, what happens is we live with disabilities or the need for assistance longer. And so what happens during that period, that lengthy period, in some cases, where you cannot completely express yourself? What do you have in place? How do you want to live? And when you have a crisis, some of the things that are important to you, some of the things that you used to do, you don't remember to do them. You don't do them because you're dealing with the crisis. So that's why we recommend personal care plans. And that's something that Jane was talking about. What is it that you would want to make sure happened in your life? What do you like to do? What are your favorite foods? What foods don't you like? And what is that?
You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. A personal care plan takes you and the things that are important to you now and projects them into the future. This is how I'd like to live if I couldn't speak for myself. The fifth is a HIPAA authorization. You may have 4 children, one of whom you've named on a healthcare power of attorney. Because of the HIPAA laws, there's been a lockdown on access to medical information. So that one child whom you've named as the agent has direct access to medical information. What about your child living out in California and down in South Carolina who wants to call if you're in the hospital and find out about you? They won't have any access. So that's what a HIPAA authorization does. It gives other people access to medical information. Well, I won't get a chance to tell you my story, but what I do want to tell you, because this is so important, second to Power Papers is getting the word out about VA benefits. There is a underutilized program, and it is still underutilized. How many people have heard of aid and attendance? Okay, just a few. This is a benefit for wartime veterans and their surviving spouses. You asked about how costs can be paid for. This may be an answer. And so it's important to know that this is a benefit that may be available in the case of need. If you want to get more information about the VA benefit or anything, please stop by the table. Thank you so much. Oh, and I wanted to show you 5 wishes that Jane was referring to. All right, thank you. Thank you, Joy.
Next is Melanie Goburn. Melanie is a patient care advocate, again with tremendous experience in the healthcare industry. Melanie Goburn.
Good morning. Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. I'd like you to, as many of my colleagues have mentioned, either right here or in the previous session, get you to think just a little bit more. And specifically, I'd like you to think about experiences that lead to change in your life. Some of the obvious ones that come to mind, and some good changes: retirement, the empty nest, right? A lot of people look forward to that. I certainly am. And the joy of grandchildren. That's a long time off for me, but I know that my mom was so looking forward to and had time to plan for her grandchildren. It's easy to have a plan around things that you can foresee or that you are looking forward to, but it's not so easy in the case of poor health or of accidents. We all know that as we age, and we hope to do so in continued good health, we don't often think about how to plan for the maladies of life. What happens if you fall in your home and you become temporarily or even permanently disabled? Are you prepared to take care of your mom living in DC while you live in PG County, knowing that she shouldn't live alone any longer? How does that impact your life? How will you make changes in your life as a result of having to take care of her? Are you prepared to take care of your dad, who's become the caregiver for your mom? The two of them are living alone or living as a couple, as they have done for 40, 50, 60 years. But he's really not able to physically care for your mom the way that you know and the way that he knows she needs to be cared for. Any kind of changing experience makes people think about several things, and what I encourage you to do is think about what's most important to you. Are you someone who avoids issues and passes them off to somebody else? Are you someone who likes to fix things? Or are you somebody who likes to accomplish things? Do you want to wrap up the issue in a neat little box or bow and make sure that it gets done? Are you, what frustrates you during a crisis? Are you frustrated that you can't get the kind of communication that you really need from the doctor? Are you frustrated that you might not have the right kind of funds to take care of the situation like you think it needs to be taken care of? Next, think about what you need personally, emotionally. What really is going to aid you to get through that crisis or problem or concern? And next, think about what a not so ideal outcome would be for a particular situation. Having all of those things in mind means that you have to have resolutions that make sense. Resolutions to experiences that cause change are quite numerous. Resolutions, fixes, can come in the form of peace of mind, comfort. Sometimes a resolution means that you get time back. You don't have to spend so much time racing around the beltway to get to your mom's house. Resolutions can come in the form of a partner. And partners are people like me, as a healthcare advocate, care manager, someone like Cheryl, who is an elder law attorney, or Jane, who works specifically with individuals with advanced care planning and advanced directives. In hiring a professional like one of us, you should look for someone who will do a number of things for you. First of all, you need to find someone who's going to listen intently to your issue or crisis or concern and really be on board with what it is that you're trying to say to them. Next, you should find someone who's willing to and able to coordinate efforts with other individuals within your community such that you get your needs met and the needs of the patient or the other individual you are most concerned about. Make sure that you are working with an individual who is comfortable providing you recommendations and quarterbacking the situation at hand. You should also expect to have a plan from that person, know what success looks like, and be very comfortable, again, making the decision to bring that person on board because you like the plan. And I'll leave you with a couple of questions just to keep in mind. Again, what will you do in a crisis? Do you have a plan? Do you have a person who's going to help you get all of the information put together that you need? How will you know you've really made the right decision? What feels right? What do you believe your parent, mom, dad would really want in this situation, or your spouse? And what does the final resolution look like? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Next we have Shelley Edwards. Shelley Edwards is a Program and Services Manager with the Alzheimer's Association. And again, maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know that could benefit from this information. Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I thought at first, why was I in this kind of group? But these ladies were all talking about personal crises. We have a national crisis with Alzheimer's disease. Currently 5.2 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number goes up dramatically every day. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States right now. It is 1 in 8 people at the age of 65 who have this disease, but by 85 it's 1 in 2. Okay, 50% of our population over the age of 85 are affected with Alzheimer's or dementia. So we need to be aware of it. So I'm very happy to be here to be able to talk about it. But also, I need these folks, and they need me, and we need to help you, because you have to make these decisions before you can't tell anybody anymore, and that's what's going to happen with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive brain disease that slowly eats away at the brain, and you will die from this disease. Most people don't realize that. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about the disease. If you want to come and hear a presentation, I'm talking over at Laurel Hospital at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So you can come see me there. Or you can come see my table over there. But I do want to tell you about the Alzheimer's Association, because I think that's very important. Most people aren't aware of us. How many here have heard of us? Okay, some. That's good. Maybe you don't know exactly what we do. But the main thing that we do is to help the person with the disease and their care partners to travel the journey in whatever fashion that may be. We have a 24-hour helpline that is truly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that number is 1-800-272-3900. 272-3900. Anyone can call it anywhere in the country and get help. Okay, you can get help in saying, I need to find a doctor, or you can get help saying, my mom's driving me nuts and I don't know what to do. Okay, or I just don't know what decision I need to make first as the person who's just been diagnosed with the disease. So the main thing we do is provide information and support. We do care consultations where we will meet with family members via phone or face-to-face, where we can help you walk through some of the things that you need to do. Do you have your advanced directives in place? Have you thought about bringing healthcare into the home? Have you thought about assisted living? Have you thought about nursing care, nursing homes? What kind of situation are you going to get into? How do you deal with the stress of being a care partner for somebody who may have this disease for up to 20 years? So it's not over quickly. So we're there to help you with that through care consultations. We also provide support groups. We currently only have 6 support groups in Prince George's County. I am working to get more of those. If you know people who want to be support group facilitators, or if you know of a place where we need to do a support group, talk to me afterwards and I'll make sure that we can get something going. So that's the main thing that we offer. The other major program I want to talk about for a few minutes is called Medical Alert Safe Return. Anyone who's dealing with someone with Alzheimer's may know that the person might wander at some point and become lost. About 1 in 6, actually, 6 out of every 10 get lost. So anyway, if they're enrolled in our Medical Alert Safe Return program, their information is entered into a nationwide database so that if they're in DC when they wander, we can help you find them if they live here. If you come from the state of Washington to visit and they're enrolled in the program, we'll help find the person. But the person is enrolled in the program, so if they go off and become lost, we get the call. We work with the police to help find them. In fact, we just had a wandering incident last Wednesday, and we found her in about 4 hours. So if you want more information about that program, come and see me at the table. But the other major part of Medical Alert Safe Return is all those advanced directives, all the medications you're on, can be stored in the database as well, so that when you're in an emergency situation and you can't get your hands on all the paperwork, you can call us and we'll get that information to you. So we do a lot, and the last thing that we do is we're trying to find a cure. So we're doing a lot towards funding research, and if you want more information, come see me. Thank you.
Now, who has questions for this wonderful group? Thank you, ladies. That information is valuable. Does anybody have any questions over here, this young lady?
I want to know if there is a difference between Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
The question was, is there a difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
That. Did you turn this off?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, I was going to restate the question, Mark. You told me I need to.
Oh,
Okay, so what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Dementia is an umbrella term used to define cognitive problems that cause cognitive decline. Alzheimer's is a disease that causes the dementia-like symptoms. You know, sometimes if you think of it, the overall arching definition of cancer, we just have cancers out there. There are many, many different types of cancer, right? So there are many types of dementia. Alzheimer's happens to be the #1 type of dementia, okay?
Yeah, but the thing about it, it seems like now from reading and hearing about different dementia that dementia's coming at an early age. They're trying to find some type of discoveries for it, you know, so that dementia seems to be a little bit different. They call onset dementia.
No, okay. There are some people who are developing some forms of dementia earlier, yes. I said it was about 65 and over. There's a growing number of the population who are developing what we call younger onset Alzheimer's, which the youngest person I have personally met was 29. Okay, so it's not just a disease of the elderly. But part of the issue is that because it's in the brain and we can't see it, we don't necessarily know that it's there. And so it may have been forming for at least 10 years before we see the first signs. So yes, a lot of our research is now trying to get younger people, before we see any signs at all, to figure out what it is that turns the thing on, that turns the dementia on, and we keep forming that stuff. So it's all over the place, but we know more about it now than we did 15 years ago. So.
In fact, last night on the evening news, they had a story about a couple who was in their 80s. Their child, their daughter who's in her 50s, has dementia. The parents do not, but the daughter does. So, you know, awareness is important. And in fact, the Alzheimer's Association has a program called Know the 10 Signs. And it's a great program to get yourself to find out where they're having it. But it will teach you the signs of a person as potentially they may be developing Alzheimer's.
I'll just make one last comment. Any of our presentations that are available in the community are also on our website. So you can go and watch the class. You don't have to wait until I come over here to Prince George's. I mean, I love it if you come and see me, but if you want the information, go on our website, alz.zebra.org.
Is anyone, alz.org, alz.org. Does anyone have any additional questions for these wonderful professionals? Thank you, ladies.
Door prize.
It is door prize time.
You're getting the rhythm now, aren't you?
Yes. Is this the drawing where we pick the person who gets to stay and clean up? Okay. No, I guess not. All right, two more winning numbers. And listen, everybody's a winner. 3 more. Yes. Everybody's a winner. Except for me, apparently. All right. Last 4. 8, 3, 5, 0. The last 4, 8, 3, 5, 0. So everybody has the first 3 the same. So last 4, 8, 3, 5, 0. We have. The next winning combination, last 4, 8, 3, 6, 5. 8, 3, 6, 5. Same table. That's a lucky table. Before this next drawing, does everybody want to move over to that table, just in case? Just wondering. And the last 4. 8, 3, 6, 8. 8, 3, 6, 8. All right. Yes.
Wow. I'm sitting by you guys. All right.
So the next part of the presentation is, and this is extremely important, and it's a wonderful group, community resources. We have Kathy Stasny from the Prince George's County Aging Services Division. We have Suzanne Van Nuys from the Prince George's Community College Senior Education Program. And of course, our lovely hostess, Darylyn Marinelli, who is Senior Program Coordinator in charge of all senior centers in Prince George's Parks and Recreation. And is Kathy going first?
She's ready to
Kathy.
tackle you.
Kathy is ready to tackle me. I may stay in there. Wait for that then. It might be the best thing that happened today.
I hope so.
Kathy Stasny.
Good morning. Darylyn gave me the sniffles.
Oh.
I don't know who else to blame. I did try to blame my husband this morning. But I am Kathy Stasny, and I'm with the Prince George's County Department of Family Services, the Aging Services Division. And I'm going to talk with you about the Maryland Access Point. It's Prince George's County Maryland Access Point. You know the government loves to give big names. And then they have the nerve to call it the map. I can't understand that. But the Maryland Access Point, think of it as a gateway or a doorway that when you go through it, everything is open to you. We provide information, assistance, referrals, benefit, understanding benefits. We even help people complete forms. Have you ever looked at the food stamp form? It's only about 17 pages, which is unbelievable. But there's some people who really need that, and they need some assistance completing it. We do so much at the MAP, the Maryland Access Point. caregiving is so important. I always put that on the top of my list. I became an instant caregiver one day, so I really understand it. My parents are 85 and 84, and they're more wild than I am, and I'm pretty wild. My husband went into the ocean. He came out with a broken neck. You just never know. Blessings and prayers really work. He is fine. However, I became an instant caregiver. It's an unbelievable stress. How many of you in here have been caregivers? Right? I'm talking to the choir. I always feel like we need to support caregivers like nothing else. So I hear about caregivers at church. I always send a card because I know what happened. In my case, my husband got better. In many cases, that's not what happens with caregiving. We offer a lot of caregiving services. We also have a caregiving support group. And as you've heard today, there's a lot of caregiving support groups. So I'm always willing to talk about caregiving. Just a lot of other things information you can get from the map. List of senior apartments in the county. List of assisted livings. In-home agencies. All the topics that you've heard today. I know many of you have been taking notes and writing things down, and you'll pick up pieces of paper. But if in 2 years you need that information, call us. We have it all for you. You don't have to store it in your kitchen cabinet or in the junk drawer. We have all that information. We're happy to distribute it to you and give it out. How many have tried to figure out which Medicare Part D should I choose? We actually have counselors that will sit down, put your medications into the computer, and tell you which Part D may be the best for you. How about, you heard a little bit about veterans benefits. There's a lot of people who are entitled to veterans benefits that are not taking advantage of it. And certainly if you're the spouse of a veteran, okay, take advantage of that. How about problems with Social Security? Ooh, that can be difficult to deal with. Come, give us a call. We'll try to work that. We'll try to help you out with that. How about homeowners' property tax credit? You know, property taxes are pretty expensive here in Prince George's County. There's income guidelines, but some of you who are caregivers for your parents, they may be eligible for property tax credit. Did you know that there's a renter's tax credit also? Information that we have and we can provide to you. How about if you have a friend in a nursing home who really wants to get out of the nursing home? There's a program called the Community Medicaid Waiver. We can provide you information on that. Anything you want. If you want information, referral, anything, the map is there. There is no wrong door. We've got information for everything. We do have a table which has our telephone number. We also partner with Dimensions Health. No, that's not who we partner with. Forgive me. I don't know who we... Oh, the Gazette, sorry. And produce this resource guide. Every one of you need to take one of these resource guides with you. They are on our table. This is a wealth of information. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have Suzanne Van Nuys with Prince George's Community College Senior Education. Is that the official name for the program?
I'll tell them.
And don't talk while you're in class right now.
That's right.
She's already threatened me with snapping my knuckles with the roller earlier, so thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome to the SAGE program of Prince George's Community College, who that I represent. And I know some of you out there know what we stand for. We are seasoned adults growing educationally. I see a few people in the crowd. Yay, very good. Yes, SAGE prefers to see adults who are 60 and older as seasoned and as sages rather than as seniors, because seasoned has such wonderful connotations: spicy, experienced, skilled, wise, and that's how we see our students. When you open the SAGE catalog, which I had intended to have one, but there we go. There it is.
I'll be your spokesman.
Thank you. Vanna White over there. Okay. When you open the SAGE catalog, you open the door to a world of opportunities for staying active, both physically and mentally. How many of you have heard, and I know every one of you has, the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it? Right? Right? Well, studies referred to on AARP website as well as in many other places have proven that regular exercise is the single most important thing you can do to improve your overall health. It reduces stress, increases your energy, self-esteem, self-confidence, improves your moods, helps you sleep better, slows the rate of bone loss, and it enables the body to use insulin more efficiently. And when you open that SAGE catalog, much of what you see are exercise classes. We have yoga, tai chi, therapeutic aquatic exercise, aerobics, various types of dancing, and the list goes on. And so SAGE gives you the opportunity to stay active and get all these benefits that we've listed and are documented through studies. The other piece of SAGE is that regular brain exercise is equally as important as getting physical exercise. Research again has demonstrated that if you engage in active learning and pursuing new experience throughout life, it helps you maintain your brain health in later years. And I'm sure you are all testaments to that fact. You're out here active, wanting to learn new things. You're here today. We at SAGE, again in this wonderful catalog, offer many different ways to keep your brain going. We offer language classes, history, art, computers, current issues, literature, just to name a few. Just the tip of the iceberg. And we're the best deal around. We have our classes for those who are 60 and older, who are residents of Maryland, are tuition waived, so you only pay a $50 registration fee per trimester, and for that, you get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of a lot of classes.